Recording in progress.
Disclaimer. The information and education material contained herein is meant to promote the general understanding and dialogue of GAN's processing. Such information is not meant or intended to serve as a substitute for a healthcare professional's clinical training, experience, or judgment. For patients and individuals, such information is not to be a substitute for professional medical, therapeutic, or healthcare advice or counseling. For medical issues or concerns, including decisions about medications and other treatments, readers, viewers, listeners should always consult their physician or, in serious cases, seek immediate assistance from emergency personnel. Prescription information, procedures, and use of medical devices information should be undertaken only by properly trained and certified medical personnel. We specifically disclaim any warranties, express or implied, including implied warranties of merchantability or fitness for a particular purpose. Such information is provided, as is, and is believed to be accurate at the time of its publishing, but it is the viewer's job to evaluate the accuracy of any information found in this presentation. Every case presented is of their own experience, applied by themselves for themselves, and it applies to their case only. Every person experiencing health problems should seek professional medical advice and consult their course of treatment with a doctor. The processes of plasma balancing described herein are a natural process which supports the body but does not replace medical advice or therapies one is already subject to.
There is a huge burden on you who became satellites. Try to understand that with what happened in Linz this week, and with the first test, we have set a precedence for the whole change of the structure. Your child cries, he doesn't talk, you reach his soul, you understand where the pain is. You have a mentally handicapped child. You want to know how you can bring the change. You reach the soul. Does the physicality matter? Those of you who are beautiful people will come to understand, to see all the members of the family within the one physical structure. We shall see from what we saw this week, end of what I call, or the beginning to an end of the knowledge of what we build and nourished as prisons. We see an end to addiction. We see an end to criminality, and we see an end to kingship. We see the beginning of how we transmute people's soul, elevate them, nourish them, and like a dream you had, return back to them. What we saw this week in Linz, without a doubt, will bring massive changes to many of us. And as a head of the Keshe Foundation, and responsible for setting up the One Race Planet, as I have agreed before I arrive here, will endeavor to bring that as fast as possible to be applicable, and it brings a positive change. The world is going through a position of mayhem, not knowing uncertainty, and this uncertainty is creating more problems in the coming months and years, and we are here to use it to change the course for peace. We are not standing for elections, we are not standing to interfere with powers. We elevate the soul of the man in a very massive way. Now there are physical systems, and it can be shown, and it will be developed for all levels of understanding. This process of transmutation of the soul and transmutation of soul of physicality, which is confirmed this week, will bring us many, many changes. Will bring us amazing amount of changes. I hope, as human race, as knowledge seekers, you understand what you have entered into and what you have brought to be, and what is about to come, and how much change it will come and bring for all of us.
Hello everyone, and welcome to the 88th public meeting for testimonials here on Monday, March 11th, 2024. This is a broadcast of the Keshe Foundation Spaceship Institute Education Department and part of the Public Teachings in English. Well, welcome everyone. This is our monthly public meeting for testimonials, and we welcome various people from around the world, knowledge seekers and new knowledge seekers and old knowledge seekers, and anyone who has an experience with the plasma technology, perhaps a life-changing incident, or maybe just a small observation. Doesn't matter. If you are willing to share, this is the time and place to do it. And so I'd like to begin with an offering from Karsten from Germany, who has had apparently a mobile star formation in action, and he would like to talk about that. So let's get started right away and see what Carson has to say. Hello, Carson.
Hello, Rick. Hello, everyone. Yes, I showed the star formation with the magraphs a few months ago, and we have a group here. And the problem for me was, or no, not the problem. I wanted to make a mobile star formation so that everyone can take it at home and make its experience. Because at home, I think you are more relaxed and have a better result than if the people come to me. It's a strange environment, and I think that would be more comfortable for the people. And so I thought how it should be constructed, and it should be quick to assemble. It should be without metal and with as less matter as possible, but as it should be a good structure that it's hold the weight. And so I make some thoughts, and I came to the result, and I can show what I've built in a 7-minute video. So I will start.
Okay, we see that now.
Yes, I'm looking for the audio. Where is it? Perhaps you hear it. We can. Do you hear something?
No.
No, that's a little bit pity.
Did you check the box for share optimized for audio and video? No, in your Zoom.
Yes.
There's two little boxes in the.
Okay, I've got it.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mark.
That's it. We got it. I'm not getting a full screen. Are other people able? Oh, there, I've got it. I've got it now. Thank you.
Okay, that was it. Hello?
Hello, go ahead. Sorry.
Yes, yeah, okay. Yeah, that was or that is the star formation, and this is set up in our room where we meet once a month with our group, and a few of them has the experience, and I said to them they should write down on a paper what their experience were and don't talk about the personal experience with the other, that they are not influenced. And so I have three papers get back from them, and it was very interesting that everyone get calm instantly if they sit in, and from one woman a lot of big emotions come up from the past, and but after a while they could handle it, and they went down, and she felt better, and a sizzling in the fingertips, and yeah, some like a dream with open eyes. You can call it this way, a vision. Yes.
Very,
Another.
very nice. Isn't this what happens, Rick, in the monthly sessions? Everyone seems to report, in a way, different experiences. We all experience different things that go on in the monthly sessions, and now Carson's taking it in the basically the same direction.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, because I have not the knowledge how it works, so I have to go in an empiric way. We have to do things, then we have to report it, discuss it, and see what affects what. And it's from the end to the beginning, backwards. And another person who we made it anonymous without name. It's easier for me.
Oh, anonymous.
Anonymous,
Yes,
yes.
yes,
Yes.
difficult word. Another one has also sizzling in this hand, and everything happens instantly. Also, so they don't have to wait a long time. They get in and have the effects instantly, and no feeling for time. One has the time stretched, and one has it the opposite way. That she sit in there and thought it would be 10 minutes and it was an hour, and vice versa. So the effect is not always in the same direction. It's personal. One has this effect and one has the opposite. Yes. And the third one has the warmth. She felt warm, but normally she's always cold, and she get in there and get warm. And yeah, it's not that warm here at the moment. We are still in the end of the winter, so it's not usual that you feel. And in the room, it wasn't very warm. It's a great big room, and the heating device was the temperature was low, so it was not normal that she felt warm inside. And she also has no feeling for the time. She sat in there, and yeah, then she has a slightly headache, every time she sat there in there 3 times, and as I can see, 2 times she had a headache. And then she broke up, but it was 50 minutes after she began the session. And yeah, all in all, everyone has some feelings that are not the way as you sit only on a chair or on a couch. It's different. Everyone said can say that it's not the normal way of sitting somewhere. Something happens, and now we have to get into the detail what affects what, and that's very interesting. And yeah, everyone in the group is very interested in the technology. Everyone has made its own questions for the next time, and so I see they work between the sessions when we meet and make their own thoughts about the things. It makes a lot of fun, and it's real great, and we are between 10 and 20 person, so there is a lot of power in the group. Yeah, thank you. And if there are questions.
Yeah, just keep your picture up there for a bit while we ask questions. Let me see. Were all the people just using the chair, or do some sit on the floor like cross-legged or something like that?
The room you saw in the video is my home, and it's a small floor. The room where the star formation now is in a city, next city, and there is a big room we meet, and they put in a more comfortable chair like this one. It has where you can put your arms on too, and I don't know the word.
Armchair.
A chair where you,
That's what it's called, an armchair. Yeah.
Yeah, armchair. Yes, of course. And with you can sit more comfortable. And I don't know if they try to sit on the floor, but I think the free plasma is more it's in a higher range if you say sit on the floor, but we can try it. Why not?
Okay, well, that brings me to my next question about, you mentioned the free plasma. So what was the idea with raising 2 of the reactors on different levels than the bottom one? You're trying to reposition the free plasma and give a more of a dynamic response?
First, I put them all on one height, and then in the private teachings we discussed it, and one knowledge seeker said I should make the 3 on the bottom in different heights, so the gravitational field of the Earth has a different strength, and so it becomes a flow, a spin. And it is you feel it. Even I felt it instantly. It's more powerful, and you feel it the first time extremely strong, and then your body. I think your body has adjusted to it, and then you don't feel it that strong. But it's really a difference if you make it on one height or in 3 different levels.
Okay, we have a question from Eskandari in the chat here. What are in the reactors? The 4 major ganses?
Yes. At the beginning of the video, I showed the contents of the bottles. The 3 around are CO2, CH3, and CuO2, and in the middle is a mixture of them 3 in the ratio 1 to 1 to 1, every with the same amount. Yes, and that's what I thought it would be a good content for the bottles.
Okay, good. Okay, what else? Some more questions? Who else has questions on this? What was the original design for the GANS bottles and coils? That came from a particular workshop, did it not?
I don't know. I thought I saw it in the somewhere, I don't know, and I thought it's not that complicated to build than a Margraph, and I made it. And with this little device, you can make a lot of tests and tries, and you see, even with this device, you can have a lot of effects. It mustn't be a Margraph, but I don't understand it in full. Of course not. Uh, I think it's a little bit what I understand of it, but it doesn't matter. You can have your experience with it, and so you get more in touch with it. And in our group, a lot of almost 90% are women, and they are very curious and want to feel it, and they have an instant connection to it, and much easier like most of the men. And so they
Mm-hmm.
are, yeah, yes, they
Well,
have, yeah,
that was the key sentence you just said there, that they want to feel it. You know, women naturally tend to be more curious that way. I think that they operate more from their feelings, whereas men might be more interested in the technology of it or the explanation of it or some sort of mental construct of it. The women go straight for the emotion and the feeling of it, the actual what am I feeling in this moment with this interaction. So yeah, that's pretty important, I think.
yes,
The woman that you said was always cold, was she coming into the system wishing to be warmed,
oh
or
well,
was she just leaving her intentions sort of open and
I don't
just
know.
okay?
I must ask her next time. Um, but as they told about their experience, I saw and I felt they were surprised about this experience as much as I am. Um, they didn't expect it that way, and that's uh, the biggest gain of this experience, that you expect nothing and you get in, and something happens what is so big, and yeah, it's you have to see it, like the people get in and get out, and everyone say, whoa, what's that?
And what are these coils we're seeing? It looks like they're nano coated,
Yes,
beautifully nano coated, and some are in the jar, and then it looks like this one is outside of the
yes,
jar. What
you have
was
all.
your, yes?
That was the construction I saw in the internet, and I don't know where, but get a plan of it. And the coil you see here in the middle, it has a shrink tube over, so that you can not touch it, and it is connected to the bottle in the back, and everyone has a connection to one double coil. It is a double coil um, on the other side. So you have three bottles around the middle bottle, and you have three double coils. And the double coil, which is on the opposite side is connected to the bottle on the opposite side, if you know what I mean. And it looks a little bit complicated, but if you take your time and watch how the connection is, it's not that difficult. It has a spin in one direction from one glass to the other, and the direction from the coils are the opposite way. So you have two turning directions which are opposite. So it makes a grinding, let's say a grinding in the plasma flow, because they are the opposite way, not the same way.
You mean getting the fields to sort of rub against each other?
Yes.
Didn't Mario used to call that scintillation, Rick?
Yes. And from these
right.
devices, there are two different ways, because in the one setup, the two glasses with the content of the two glasses are switched. So in one setup, you have the same direction of both rings, and in the other setup, you have the different. So you have a rubbing. So it's only the content of two glasses has to be switched, and so that makes the difference if it makes the same direction of both rings, I call it, or you have the opposite direction.
A very clean job. I mean, even the base and everything is very sturdy with the pegs and so on. Some of these, sometimes you see them, they're a little bit wobbly, but this is a beautiful, sturdy, portable setup.
Thank you.
Very, very nice.
It should be
Clean.
assembled in under a minute, and I get it that way. It's if you have the all parts in your flat or in your house, then you need 1 minute, and perhaps the second hand for the situation when you put the top part, that you that one person holds the three sticks, that they don't fell down. But if you are a little used to it, you can make it on your own without tools.
Did any of the participants have similar experiences? Like they said, I felt that too. Maybe emotional balancing, or
yes, the calm which comes instantly is common. Everyone has the inner silence, and the time, the time feeling is also most of the people has a different time feeling if they sit longer in there. Not if you sit only for 2 minutes, it's not possible that your time, or I think it's not possible that your time feeling is very confused. But if you sit there half an hour or 50 minutes, then most of the people say, I can't say how long I sit there.
and I see on top of the white caps, you have something that looks like silicone or some
No,
sort of
it's
jelly.
hot glue.
Okay. What's
So
the function of this?
yeah, that they don't dry out, so that the moisture stay in, or the water, the plasma water stays in. And a second thing is that the coils inside are don't moving, that they are fixed. So you have a hole in the plastic, and it's not that tight that you fix the coil. It has a possibility of moving, and so it's more solid and fixed.
So you stabilized it with the hot glue.
Yes. I don't know if it's that good, because the nano layers may perhaps, or may, of course, they are damaged a little bit, but I hope it's only a little bit. It's not that much, and yeah, I think it works.
What was the time on average that the people stay in here? 30 minutes or?
I think so, yes. 15 to 30 minutes. Unfortunately, I only have 3 testimonials on paper. The other ones said it to me verbally, and so yeah, I think I don't ask how long have you sit there, but I think 15 minutes up to 30.
Now, you weren't designing this as a physical feeding station, but were there any reports about feeding or hunger, or maybe it increased their appetite?
No, I didn't hear anything about this, and I don't ask about it. But yes, I can ask if someone has a different appetite, and perhaps.
I'll tell you about a strange effect that has occurred at my place while you had this presentation. The white cat that occasionally visits, well, pretty much every day, it's the neighbor's cat, and it comes in through my window, and I had the window open, and the cat came in through the window and prowled around a bit, and then jumped up into my lap. And this cat's quite feral, I guess the way they call it. It's pretty wild. It doesn't normally do that. So it jumped up in my lap and is sitting here still purring away. And I can't believe it. It's never done that before in the last couple of years. It's jumped up a couple times and then it'll jump right back down. It never stays. And it's been sitting here for a good 5 minutes, purring away. And somehow, I don't know if this, if your image of the apparatus is enough to induce that, yes, it induces that calmness in a remote way. And even with me talking here and everything else, the cat's just completely mellowed out, and I can't believe it. She's never done this before, so I'm just kind of waiting for the claws to come out or something, as what would normally happen in this situation. But she's quite content to just sit here. So some feedback for you on something's happening that's different, that's for sure.
Very nice.
Right, and aren't they made from the same amino acids, things as we are, the cats or the animals and so on? So they could be subject to a very similar effect. And we know these fields, well, I think they actually reach quite perhaps even thousands of kilometers away. Even we may not have the proper sensing equipment for it, but
maybe even across the universe. Why not?
Definitely. Yeah.
There's different kinds of fields that aren't restricted to distance. Same as the fields of your mother feeling that something's happening to you when you're on the other side of the planet or whatever, that kind of intuitive feelings. They're instant.
Or you cut the magnet in half and you take one and I take one, and even though I may be a mile away or 10 miles away, somehow in the plasmatic realm, they're still connected. There was a reactor on top. We couldn't quite see that in your video, but there was the fourth reactor was above the head.
Yes.
Or yes.
On top, it's yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of games, I think, to play with this. The chair can be moved, the heights can be moved, the volumes can be changed. This is really, you're starting out at the base and just seeing what happens. And everyone's unique, so they will have unique experiences, I think.
Yes. And if you have the construction, you can change the reactors. You can take rotary reactors, and they can be controlled with one controller or everyone separate. There are a lot of things we can do, and I have a lot of ideas, and in our group we have a lot of also in the German private group we have a lot of discussion and what can be done next. And so thank you for every good idea I became from all the knowledge seekers, and I only make it and it's not from me. And so thank you for everyone for every good idea, and we are a team and it only works together. It's not a one-man show. It's always a combination of the whole team. Thank you.
I was just thinking, I wonder what would happen if you read the World Peace Treaty while sitting in the chair within this structure. Just a thought.
We can try, and I tell you how it works.
Now my question is, how do you turn that thing off? This cat is becoming super affectionate and it's kind of starting to bug me a bit here.
I think it's feeling, somehow it might be feeling the effects of this. I know when we did some experiments in the reactor group that people could just, in a way, watch the recording and see or feel a similar or get a similar understanding of what was going on in there. When Mr. Keshe came in that one specific time, he said he wanted to run a test in a way.
I think he says the recording won't work, but I think it does. In when someone's ready and they're hearing it, the kind of instructions in a way, then they'll respond. And I think the Knowledge Seekers workshops and other recorded workshops that we have definitely have an effect on people in a very deep way, and sometimes.
Gee, if we could communicate with the cat, we'd like to hear what the cat has to say.
Well, if I crank up the microphone somehow, you could probably hear the purring.
Maybe it's just the cologne you're wearing today, Rick. I don't know.
Maybe. I don't know. It's very strange. She's rearranged her posture a couple of times, and it's just at one with my lap right now, and quite happy. I've never seen her so happy. The tail was wagging and so on. So there you go. That's my report. Personal testimonial from me and the cat.
Can you feel the purring going right through you?
Yeah, I can definitely feel it. We are at one.
As we say, we're taking that word coincidences out of our vocabulary, aren't we?
Yes, as someone I know once said, either everything is coincidence or nothing is coincidence. You can choose to believe either world. Okay, any more questions for Karsten or comments? I bet you wouldn't be able to get it through airline security lineup. They pull that out of your bag, they would probably evacuate the whole wing of the airport.
With a little training, we don't need the airplanes anymore.
Yes, right. We'll just bypass that whole process. It'd be a great explanation. You can see they're sitting with them for half an hour explaining all about the plasma technology and how it works, and maybe they would be calmed out and peaceful at the end of it and be laughing and having a great time about it.
So there's probably still more testimonies to come on this system. Yes, Karsten?
Of course, we don't stop now. We just begun, and a lot of things. The I Today I asked her if they still use the star formation, and yes, of course, every day some people come and sit in there, and so it makes more a bigger amount of testimonials, so we get a bigger overview of the feelings and the effects it has. So I will definitely bring more the next time.
I was wondering, does the larger one and the smaller one, do they use the same corner brackets to hold the uprights?
Yes, yes, it's only
Same
the
angle?
length. Yes, the same angle, and it's only the length of the wooden sticks
Mm-hmm.
is different, but it's no limit. Theoretically, no limit.
So someone could have a small setup um,
Yes,
through the week, and if they had weekend meetings or something, they could set up the big one in their room and
yes,
then tear it
yes.
down after. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. It's built up in a minute, and the same way it's in a minute, it's away, and so that's even in small flats, it's no problem, and yeah, no problem.
I was always interested in what they call the so-called Montauk project, where I believe so-called put a chair in a room and created energies or magnetic fields around the chair. And they may have achieved some sort of jump point or some other things, as it was reported. There were a couple stories about this project that actually happened on Long Island in Montauk, New York. And some people say it's just a story, and other people who work there or was a janitor, I think he gave a number of testimonies about what he had observed or what he had overheard being reported. So this is not unique in a way. I think this interaction of fields, and again, you need to know how to play. And the more you know how to play, I think the more you can do more things. But I think it's a beautiful work you're doing, Karsten. Thank you for sharing the fields with all of us.
Thank you. Welcome.
Hello, Rick. Hello, everyone. This is Roseanne Skandari.
Hi, Roseanne. Go ahead. Yes.
Yeah. I was trying to find how to give the information to people of Gaza and about that Mr. Keshe said, and that they are going to feed remotely with energy the people there, and I couldn't find how we can give those information to people there.
Right. I've got the video itself, but you want the link to the video, and let's see. Do you have that, Mark, or someone else?
You may want to contact Jalal. I think he did some of the transcriptions for the instructions on this project, this public demonstration of the feeding on the line, they call it. But perhaps it's even been changed to a position where it's now an environment rather than connecting on a phone or a headphone. It seems that Mr. Keshe said that we didn't need the headphone in the following that workshop. But you may want to, I think it was distributed to the people in Gaza themselves. And as Mr. Keshe said, once they start using it, it will spread like a virus amongst themselves. They will tell each other. They will be actually promoting what they're feeling or occurring. And again, beyond the understanding and the imagination of all of us, in a way, that remotely food can be provided, clean water in the field range of it, antibiotics, antiseptics, painkillers, and of course, emotional balancing, all through being in an environment of field. So in a way, what Karsten's showing us is I don't want to say oversimplified, but a sort of a simple rendition of what's going on a larger scale, I think, in a way. He may not have that precise control of it all, but it's the same sort of concept, to be in an environment of fields and interactions start taking place. The more you understand, the better you can play. And it becomes a beautiful game.
As long as it's delivered to them, it's fine then. So they can deliver to people remotely. They don't need a cell phone or internet connection.
It does sound that way. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not sure if they're using the cell phones or not. That was the original idea, but perhaps that's been changed. In any case, the original excerpt, her original announcement, was on February 29th in the 527th Knowledge Seekers Workshop, starting at 1 hour and 15 minutes, 36 seconds. So if you want to look that up, you would find the excerpt itself, which is this video was about 23 minutes.
Yeah, I did that. I know that, but I couldn't find on the website. Yeah.
Right,
but
I see.
What information we can give to people of Gaza, even one person, like they can spread that. Because I see some people from Gaza, they make videos and they post on YouTube. So I thought maybe I can connect to them and give them information. But if it's done already, so.
It could have been a sleight of hand by Mr. Keshe. In a way, we were all looking for the announcement on the website, thinking that it'll start when we see the announcement. But I think he said it started right on time, as he had promised it would, even though we didn't see the physical announcement of it. And that
maybe they changed. They are gonna they deliver it remotely, so there is no need to for cell phone or internet connection.
Yeah, I think they're also not wanting to give out the cell phone connection or Zoom number, because a lot of people might be abusing it and not actually be in Palestine when it's happening, and he didn't want others to, if you're even in North America and Palestinian, he didn't want you to be using that, because it was for the people that are actually there under that situation.
Right. That was exactly right, Rick. He said some people who would like to go in and test it and see if I don't feel hungry, or I had a headache, for the last month and I want to get relief. People may have been over tempted to try to interact with the system. But as he said, it didn't carry the soul for the people outside of Gaza.
Okay, I thought it was just for that region, not other region of the world.
Yeah,
So.
but you know how we are. We like to sort of sneak into things, or maybe sometimes take things we shouldn't be taking.
Yeah,
And he
that's
said
right.
that could cause the injury of someone who really needed it. So
That's
perhaps
right.
that was the strategy there. I don't know.
Yeah, I didn't hear anymore what happened and how we could help. So I was
Well, in
thinking
the
just
528, I think there's a bit more.
yeah,
So
yeah, I
527.
watched that. Okay, I didn't
Okay.
finish all the video, so maybe I go there to see if I can see. Another thing is I would like to share my experience. I attended like 5 sessions, Friday sessions last year, and in like 2 of sessions, I felt something like lunch with creator. I felt like I was hungry, and then just for a few seconds, and then that feeling was gone. Like I felt this like a few times, and
Rick, could you bring up the session she's referring to? I think it's a little bit lower down on the page. And then maybe her story will make more sense to people who are hearing this for the very first time.
Is that what you mean? This one here?
Yes. Is this these sessions you
no,
were
this is
referring?
last year. I don't know if it's
Yes,
yeah.
they continued. Yes, there were different sessions of dining with the Creator and elevating the souls of the prophet and helping those who are abused on the planet. One was for addiction, and there were a number of them, but he's
Yes,
moving.
yes.
Mm-hmm.
I just participated in like 5 sessions, and after that, I didn't. But like one session, people were like, I was feeling like I get water in my mouth, and later on, Mr. Keshe said that they were testing if they can deliver water through this system. So it apparently it worked, but my experience is something. In other sessions I really didn't feel much something happening, but after these 5 sessions that I had, one night that I had a dream, a beautiful dream, and it was like my wedding party in the dream. I am already married, so I don't know why I had this dream. Anyway, it's not under our control. And this dream was so beautiful, and the wedding party was so beautiful, and and the groom was looking at me with all uh, with all the passion and love in his eyes and admiration, and I was going to see the guests and thank them for coming, and I wasn't looking like myself. The look was different, and I was like taller in my dream, and I was wearing a beautiful dress, a pink dress, and I was so happy and looking at the groom and smiling at him, and then the groom organized everything so beautifully that I loved it. And then I woke up with so much happiness that I felt I'm filled with love that I don't need any more love. It was this feeling. I said, "Oh my God, did I meet the creator that I have this feeling? I didn't feel this. I didn't feel this much love from my mother or from my husband or anybody else." So it was so beautiful, and after that, I feel so good that I can just give love. I don't need any more love. That's how I felt.
I think you went to the land of the lovers, where
I
you
don't know.
had
It
that
was
emotion of completeness.
It must be, yeah. I never had this feeling. I never had this feeling from my mother or from my husband. I was feel so much in love that I thought I don't need any more love anymore. So I can give just love, not getting love. It was very beautiful. And I think it was because of attending those sessions, I got that. So I had many dreams. I always had dreams. I was seeing things in my dreams, but this was very different, very different.
And that would probably apply to Carson's system as well. Sometimes, Mr. Keshe said, you don't feel anything. The energies have to settle, and in a way, the body has to work with them and so on. Excuse me.
Yes. Hello?
Yeah, sorry, yes. I had to mute the telephone. I'm sorry I didn't have it on
okay, no problem.
But yes, the energies may accumulate and the body accepts them, and you see changes, or you have different things happen to you down the road. It doesn't always happen within the hour of your session.
Yeah, that's correct. I was wondering, like, people were saying that they feel the nano had healing in their mouth. I never felt that one, and I was just, maybe I was attending there looking for something else. That's what I got from there, actually. It was the most beautiful feeling that I got after in my dream.
So you were there with the idea that you weren't worried about the money or the food or the love or any of the things you were in that emotion of completeness, I think, or the balance of the fields of the soul of the existence. I think that's very precious.
Yeah, that might be. I just thought it's good to share with others what I experienced. So thank you.
Geez, you guys keep talking about love. I'm never gonna get this cat off my lap.
you need to tell that cat he or she can go now to leave you alone. Yeah, it will listen to you.
Well, it's okay. I'm making an exception today.
Okay, thank you. I'm done with my sharing.
Okay, well, thank you for that.
I wanted to ask Miss Eskandari, did she have a middle initial in the past with a J in it?
No.
Okay.
My name is actually my nickname. I like this name. My name is Rafat, actual name, but
okay,
I'm used to this name from workplace, and then I made it my name.
Okay, it just sounds like somebody I used to interact with or listen to in a way.
No. I am Iranian. We don't have middle name, actually. And we keep our father's family name. We don't change. Unless we want to change, we don't get our husband's family name.
Okay, so you're not Jamila. No.
Yeah, no.
Okay.
All right. Well, perhaps we can move along to Gerhard here, who has an experience he wanted to relate to us.
Yes, I'm here. I want a little bit to talk about my last experience in the transmutation preparation session in February. I'm one of the German knowledge seekers members, and during the February transmutation session, my wife and I, was stayed in a hotel in Malaysia. This means it's 10,000 kilometers away from Germany, and the time difference is 7 hours. And on Friday, we was normally participated, perceived the new fields, and I was tried out some ideas, and all was gone normally. And I want to continue the experience on that Saturday morning at 6 a.m. This is 11 p.m. in Germany. But when I was switched on the Zoom, the access was already closed. And I've thought nothing, and was going in my bed back and listened on the Thursday Knowledge Seekers workshop in the bed. Without headset, only switched on the phone. And around about a half hour, I was heated, and when I was feeling what I was still connected with the field, because when I was closing my eyes, I could done the same things like on the Friday meeting. But the Zoom was switched off, and I hadn't on the earphones. And when I was tried out a little bit, playing with this, and then was going the standard day, and I was forgotten about this. And in the evening, I was gone with my wife to the neighbor town. This was 2-3 kilometers by walk, and there was still night. And I was only closing my eyes, and when I was immediately in my street at home in Germany, I was seeing the houses, I was seeing the corners of this, and I was walking like I was in Germany. And I couldn't feel all the things, but my thinking head could not, how I can say it, believe it. I could not believe it, what I was feeling. And when only 2 days later, I could found some words about this, and when I was wrote this to Mr. Keshe about the experience, and when on the next knowledge seekers meeting, he was only said, um, there was the system was developing more far away than he was expected, and this was this was too early for us knowledge seekers. And I got a small view in the future for our knowledge seekers about the transmutation. This was 3 weeks ago, 2.5 weeks, and unexpected, and without any fear, I was only close the eyes, and when I was in a different place. This was so nice, and I'm even today so happy what this was gone without stress or something, what is connected with this new experience. And this I was a real to tell all of the knowledge seekers today.
Well, that's interesting. Yeah, I think that's kind of like what we're supposed to be feeling and experiencing.
Yeah, I think the Keshe Foundation is opening up this side of energy that we never really understood or knew existed. We're also physical. Everything was centered around the physicality. But the daydream or the night dream, again, we were told to call it a dream. Mr. Keshe says it's the work of the souls interacting. So we never knew about this, and we're just scratching the surface about this other dimension of our sort of schizophrenic construction there, that we can work in both of these dimensions, even simultaneously.
And so I know what in Gaza the people has a connection also without headphones. It's working. It's my own experience.
Well, perhaps in a month or 2 or 3. I know Mr. Keshe said we're feeding 80,000 people a day. They need support to scale it up to 1 million people a day. They're only 15-minute sessions. The Zoom can only handle, I think, 1,000 people per session. But perhaps, Rick, they may find their way to your testimonials meeting. We may hear it shared in there, or perhaps in the workshop or some other location. This has been my wish, and of course we know our wish we command.
Mm-hmm. Okay, well, thank you, Gerhard. Is there any other questions or comments for Gerhard? Okay, well, do we have some other testimonials from anyone in our group here? What else have we heard in the last month or so, Mark? There's been a few things, I think, but I can't recall immediately here.
Well, we've heard some beautiful work from Gianni with chickens, and with I think with the bees as well. We've seen some beautiful testimonials there. Of course, the agriculture, and he's been impressing a lot of people. And as I said, he was always stressing intention, attention, and emotion on the work outside of the GAN's work and that sort of work, even though it's all connected in so many ways. I'm not sure if he started out with attention and then intention, or intention and attention. Create an intention and then create a focused attention on that intention, and then bringing in the emotional side. I don't understand it completely. We're just, again, sort of scratching the surface of this. But we have someone who knows how to teach and knows how to deliver to all of us, whether we're in the first classroom or in the 12th grade. I had sent you a video this week on the, what was it called? The something Tron, Magnetron or something, about these children's toys. And I guess they had it out years ago. And we saw that with the globe that was floating. I mean, they were standard magnets and things, but it's just showing that we use the matter state to reach this level of understanding of the soul. And of course, the matter state, Rick has played with magnets quite a bit. And it just gives a beautiful example of some of the things we can understand in the dimension of plasma. Of course, magnets are more, I guess, electromagnetic vibration. I'm not sure. But when we talk about the plasma work, it's the magnetico-gravitational energies of, let's say, the energies between the atom and the proton, where that proton is a plasma, the electron is a plasma, and you have all these interactions, and this is why the electron is moving all the time around its proton, because it's trying to find a balance that is almost impossible to find. There it is, the levitron. Yeah, so this is very interesting to show. And go ahead, Rick, take over, please.
Yeah, the levitron, it's been out for a long time. I remember I bought this for my father probably at least 30 years ago. And it's just normally you can't float a magnet in a stationary magnetic field, which is what this is. There's no batteries necessary. It's just a series of magnets inside that bottom thing. Normally you can't float a magnet on top of a bunch of magnets. It'll go to one side or it'll be unstable. There's a certain theorem about that. But in this case, if you rotate the magnet on top and get it just right, then you can float it. I remember it took my father quite a few tries to be able to get it, and you have to, every day is different. You have to use these little balancing discs to weigh the magnet properly so that it corresponds to that day's magnetic fields.
Mm-hmm. And the other thing that when I had watched this video, that large magnet underneath on the bigger plate actually has a hole in the center of it. So that may be part of helping this thing to stabilize in a way there. You can see it's rocking. But you like to, and Mr. Keshe has always talked about using the magnets with the holes in them. I'm sure there's a whole teaching on that. It's where the soul would be in the center of that instead of the solid magnet. What do they call those magnets, Rick?
A ring
with
magnet.
The hole. Oh, there you go. That's it. Yeah. So this is basically a large ring magnet, as I understand it. There is a hole in the center here of the larger on the bottom.
And the same with the one on the top. It's a ring magnet as well. And they're unstable if you just try to put it on without it rotating. But with just the right weight and just the right spin, then you can get it to stabilize. It's an interesting phenomenon. I couldn't believe it at first, and so I thought my father might enjoy that, and I sent it to him, I think, for a birthday present or something.
Well, isn't this the way the planetary system works as well? We don't have a fuel tank on the Earth or wings or any fuels in a way. It's all moving by magnetic, plasmatic, gravitational fields interacting with the sun and the other systems within there, creating a sort of balance in a way, and rotation and movement in conjunction with, of course, the center of the galaxy, and that's connected to another one. It's the Russian doll syndrome in a way.
Yes, the hip bone's connected to the leg bone and all of that.
And you're still connected to the cat.
The cat has finally gone off to her little kitty chair that I use for her bed, and has finally abandoned ship here. Boy, that's amazing. That was quite a long time. She fell asleep, started purring, and all of that. Very strange, but not really if you think about the way the fields operate.
Yeah, I think we see in the Holy Book, Solomon was actually interacting with other creatures, maybe vertical people or horizontal people, as well as his troops, I think, in a way remotely. And again, this technology or aspects of this technology have been in different civilizations. We talk about the flying carpet, we talk about other things. And apparently those technologies had existed, but were lost or were banned for, I don't know exactly why. there's probably a lot to uncover in our history, as the history is much older and deeper than we're told on this planet and in the universe.
Yes, indeed. I think there's one story about that they used to have flying machines, and at one point in a Middle Eastern vicinity, and but one day some I guess someone under the king who was part of the courtyard, but wasn't really appreciating the king. Apparently got drunk and decided to show his displeasure with the king by throwing excrement into the courtyard at the king. And that so enraged the king that he decided there would no longer be any flying machines, and anyone who talked about or tried to use or develop flying machines would be killed, and the families that made the flying machines were killed, and the whole culture of that was stifled, let's say, and banned, so much that you couldn't talk about it, and even talking about it would be under the pain of death. So people within a generation would definitely forget about the whole thing, probably within a year.
Gee, I thought this guy on the carpet only used number one, but you're saying he used number two.
Well, I'm not sure. Depends what story you hear, I suppose, and whether you're on the receiving side or not. But in any case, maybe I embellished the story too much. In any case, something like that, you can understand that, that's basically we're in the same situation now, even more so, that the possibility of abuse would be there if the ordinary person had a flying device that could cloak itself and travel at the faster than the speed of light. They would be up to mischief, no doubt, because we're already at the speed of a speeding car, having enough trouble with people getting, drunk or high on drugs and doing weird stuff with their vehicles and hurting others and all kinds of things like that. So it's bad enough on a personal level, and if we take it to the national level with the way governments treat each other and with the latest technology, and basically find a way to abuse other governments or control them and their people, it's a bit of a dicey situation whether to even introduce such technology until we've decided to calm down with each other and actually declare that we are a peaceful race and not a belligerent one.
Right, and that's why a lot of what we see we can use, like the cell phone or something. Mr. Keshe keeps using these examples. You don't need to build a voice translator to use a voice translator. You don't need to build a cell phone or a jumbo jet to have a seat on the jumbo jet. And I think this is where he said we want to keep the technology very close to the foundation. And even with the cosmic ray material, he said we will not share this knowledge of converting and producing this cosmic ray material, because until our souls are more elevated, we are subject to abusing it, I think. So we'll be able to use the technology, but may not be able to produce the technology. Now, maybe our partners will, but there was even an issue there recently, I think, on TikTok with the energy shield that China seemed to want to reveal something about. But again, as Mr. Keshe said, they stole a dog with one leg. They don't really know what they have in their hand. and it didn't come with any blessing because it was stolen in a way. I think he was referring to some knowledge seekers. Sometimes we jump the gun and think we have it all, but you only have a very small percentage and not fully understanding its implications or its connection to other knowledges that need to be connected to it for other things to happen.
Well, more and more people are becoming aware of the plasma technology, and the plasma is part of what makes up our universe, and it's inevitable that one way or another humans will come to the agreement that most of our science will be passing by the wayside and will merge into a plasmatic way of understanding and developing. If you look at, for example, the way the astrophysicists have looked at the universe and all the stars and galaxies and planets of the universe, and how the universe was formed. It was always the Big Bang, and it took a certain amount of time for galaxies to form, and they had this very precise formula that was supposed to explain where we are today and where all the other galaxies are and the expansion of the universe and all this stuff. But in the last few years, with the newer telescopes that are available, are blowing those theories right out of the water, and those astrophysicists are forced to reform their theories and accommodate for plasma rather than gravity as the one of the prime movers of the forces and materials of the universe. And that's changed everything, because now they are starting to look at what is in between the stars, and what's in between the galaxies, and what's in between the planets, and so on. And that is part of what is all the missing material that they supposedly didn't know what was before. And now they're finding these huge rivers of plasma that are coursing light years through the universe and through galaxies and so on. And it's a big change, and that will take years to have that change come through and to convince people that our description of the universe isn't as exact and precise and nice and tidy the way it was originally. It's much closer to what Mr. Keshe calls the big whoosh rather than the Big Bang. Big Bang's part of the macho way of approaching creation and so on, but it's the actual creation of beings in the universe is different than the Big Bang. It's a big whoosh.
Yeah, it seems to work its way up from the smaller to the larger by layering or taking millions of years to create a planet or a star system or whatever. It's not the bang and then from the big down to the large in a way. It seems to start with the small interaction and the layering and interaction, and then it's a building up process rather than a blow, from a big bang to a. And what are some of the names of the technologies that people have co-opted so that they wouldn't refer to the Keshe technology as a plasma? Would quantum physics be something like that, or string theory, or other things? I know Mr. Keshe has alluded to that they've changed the names so that he wouldn't, or the plasma technology would not get the credit in a way. It would seem like it's something new or different.
Well, basically, yeah, they spent the last 50 years spinning their wheels about all these fancy theories of string theory and so on, with virtually zero practical applications or any way to test it. And more and more the scientists have based their knowledge on theories, on formulas, and on simulations. And so on and so forth. But now they're finding the end doesn't justify the means. Their calculations have not come through to give the exact results that they're supposed to, and there's this big unknown, like where's the 80% of the energy of the universe that in the dark matter and dark energy that they can't account for. They've forgotten about a few things such as plasma and the hydrogen atom that they can't see with their telescopes because it's not in the right configuration, and so on and so forth. And now they're a little bit embarrassed because they've spent so much. You can imagine someone that was in a young age, scientists, got into certain fields and spent the last 50 years, and now they have to come to the realization that they were wrong, just plain wrong. And now they estimate the age of the universe, for example, is now double what their best estimates for 50 years were. They've now just suddenly in the last year or two doubled that estimate. So now the age of the universe is twice as old. That's a 200% error. That's unheard of in science. You don't do science and get a 200% error if you correct it. That's like a really big boo-boo. Imagine spending the last 50 years of your life being 200% wrong, in spite of all your calculations that are down to 0.0001%, thinking you're correct. You're off by twice as 200%, which is just outrageous. And that is reflected through to virtually all of the sciences. They've come to a kind of a stagnation point in a lot of the science. They've gone into really, really detailed theories and really, really detailed experiments and so on. But about still using the old way of thinking, and we're in a different realm now with the plasma technology, as Mr. Keshe has tried to explain to us so many times. It's not about the physical interactions, and it's not about the biology, it's not about the physics, it's not about the interaction of the atoms and molecules and whatnot. It's about the field interactions that are important. And the fields always come before the physical. So if you know about the field interactions, then you can have control over the physical interactions. And that's kind of like the holy grail of what Nikola Tesla and others have described over the years of being able to have control over creating elements. And said when mankind has that ability to look beyond the phenomena, beyond the physical, then we'll have more. I think you said something like we'll have more progress, than ever before. So that's what we're in the middle of now. It's all the sciences are becoming more plasmatic and more interested in the effects of plasma, both in a vacuum and in a ordinary kind of interaction, both on the nano level and on the cosmic level, and everything in between. And yes, quantum is a big catchword. That's a catchphrase, they call it, or buzzword that people have been using.
And that's what Mr. Keshe has been saying. If we can feed the man in space, we're going to show the technology in the time of disaster. And so this is the time. And apparently when the Gaza situation is over, the system will be shut off. But I think many governments may reach out in the future to the Keshe Foundation. They'll hear about it in the background. You may not see it on Fox News or some of the other main broadcasters, let's say, but I think the governments in the background will actually know that there is a number to call to help in the time of maybe a typhoon or a earthquake or whatever happens. And of course, the twin star is getting a little closer, so we may see some near gravitational upheavals happening on this planet. But to know that there is a resource, it's the same way you call 911 when you need help.
Yeah, what a concept, eh? That imagine if you're a government and you know that there's a government 911 number to call. Call the Keshe Foundation when you're in trouble. It's like, Batman or something. Okay, we've exhausted all of our regular resources. Now bring out Batman. Bring out the Keshe Foundation.
Right. Well, one of the reasons it seems so strange to us is it's space technology. And our understanding has basically been centered around the matter state. And this is why we're puzzled or baffled by this.
Yeah, Keshe has always been pushing for that space technology aspect right from day one. That's always been his priority. And all the experiments he does and products he comes up with and everything else is to balance for the space technology, not so much for the use of humans on Earth to improve our lives and that kind of thing, which will all happen from the offshoots of the space technology. But he always brings it back to that's what it's for, really. It's for our use as voyagers, not so much for our use as homebodies or home owners,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it's an anomaly to us as well that our true life starts after death, or even if we have to experience death, probably not, if you know what to do, where we think it ends at the point of death.
That's right.
But your true life starts in the dimension of energy in the universe, and that's what we're creating these conditions to understand more slowly, step by step.
Why we're messed up with the appreciating the universe and how it was created. We think it was from a big bang. It all started from this one point of, sort of the egg meets the sperm, the big bang, and that's where it all began. And that's literally men's point of view of the way life kind of goes. But if you look at the bigger picture, the creating the environment, and there was still life before that creation of life. So in other words, what we think is the Big Bang and the start of our universe was actually just the end of the last universe and the creation of yet another new universe. And we see that Mr. Keshe sees it as a whoosh as the new universe comes into creation. But we think it all started at one certain point, when actually it was more of a transition or transformation, or perhaps a transmutation in some way from a previous universe. Where did that come from? It came from another previous universe, and so on. So when they try to date the universe, and I think they're trying to go more and more backwards. And what if they get through that whoosh point and find out there's another complete universe with more and more and more galaxies and more and more and more stars. So much more that it's even more than they've discovered up to this point in our current universe. Then that will, of course, be shocking, and they'll have to change their perspective of both the universe, the way it's created, and perhaps the way we're created as humans as well. Perhaps our life extends beyond the act of the creation of the physicality. Where were we before the physicality was created? who are we really? Are we the physicality? If that's all we identify with, then that's different than identifying with that which continues. In any case, perhaps we should get back into our testimonials here. Do we have any more testimonials to testimony about? What else do we have that occurred in the last month or so, Mark?
Excuse me, Rick, what did you say?
I'm just wondering what else we had in the last month or so that might have occurred that we can mention here.
I can't even remember what I had for breakfast.
Yes. Well, you're a lot better at it than I am, so that's why I'm leaning on you.
Yeah, don't put me on the spot, Rick. I only know 1/1,000,000th of 1/1,000,000th of 1% of this knowledge, if that. So we're keeping the humble position to try and absorb more. As we know, when you get to that arrogance that you think you have it, you don't have it at all. So I'm staying in that sort of weaker, humbler position to try and absorb more and not think that, I'm the cat's meow or anyone else's. All this knowledge is about you and yourself and finding your connection to the Creator. And there's no formula for it. We all have to find that connection within ourselves. And what works for me may not work exactly the same way for you. What I look at as heaven may not be, you may feel uncomfortable there and vice versa. So it's all about you and understanding your Creator, which is within you, which we've never been allowed to figure that out. In many of the traditional teachings in the holy books and so on, it was actually made to keep you from finding out who you really are. And he always goes back to the idea of I made the man in the image of myself in a different size, a different strength, and a different amount. But you're still part of the Creator, which we've never really been told that. We've actually been told the opposite. And this is abuse of the man for lack of knowledge of who he is in the universe.
Okay, while you're talking, Mark, maybe you can mention about the two intentions. We have the Universal Council has their invitation, and maybe you can mention something about that. Let me get it up here.
Yeah, I see it. I see it. Yeah, we're going to have to reach a collective awareness of the souls on this planet to reach that tipping point. Apparently, the universal community could do it in a nanosecond, but then it would be magic and we wouldn't keep it. In a generation or two, even though we were exposed to the plasma technology and the beauties and the amazement of it, without the elevation of the soul of the man, the soul of the planet and all its inhabitants will go right back to the same pattern in a generation or two of killing and eating each other. And of course, most of us are not eating other human beings, but we refer to the vertical and the horizontal structures, the cows and the plants, as also people, which is a hard understanding in so many ways. We think it's our right to take their energy from them to sustain our own. But we're learning a deeper understanding of this whole matter, that there's none of that in the universe per se. There's no wars, there's no abusing. We hear on this planet how the big fish eats the little fish. In the universe, the big fish nourishes the little fish and tries to bring it up to its level of understanding and so on. So the Universal Council invites everyone at the soul level, again, you can be working, you can be climbing a mountain or making dinner or changing the baby. And at 21 p.m. every day, the souls unite together. There's no checklist, there's no Zoom meeting, there's no Telegram meeting. It's just in the dimension of energy to elevate those in need, to bring them up, such as the world leaders, the religious leaders, and the rest. And of course, the religious leaders are used to create conflict, which then allows the world leaders to go into war many times. I think we've had 5,000 wars on this planet in the last 3,000 years. Most of us don't recall that because we haven't been here that long, or in this cycle, let's say. So this is the way we're going to bring the change. If it's your wish to see peace, path of peace is made very clearly. It's the soul of the collective awareness. By giving to the others, will create a position of change. No other thing. And in that giving, which we're not really used to, we're used to taking. In that giving, you will actually receive more to elevate your own soul to then be able to further give more. It's, again, a process that all the souls within us, our ancestors and the rest, didn't have that sort of thing. Take care of yourself, your family, and don't really worry about anyone else. In the universe, it's just the opposite. So by going through this process, we're actually creating the universal condition, or allowing us to operate in the universe. As we've heard, we worry about how much we get every day, where in the universal community, they think about how much they give every day. So it's a totally different understanding, but we're being enlightened to reach that level of understanding. So this is something you can participate in for a minute, a nanosecond, 5 minutes, whatever you like, and then extend that to doing it not once a day, but doing it all the time, as you choose. And there's another meeting that the Brazilians have carried forward since they had the 5+1 negotiations in, I think it was Vienna, and they were almost there. Mr. Keshe said to use your souls to elevate the negotiators and the others to bring that change. And the beautiful part of this process, which is not familiar with us, even the Universal Council is learning to use their energies to see things manifest in the matter state. The beauty of it is no one fails this test, because we all are huge field generators, and we all have different strengths and amounts of fields within us. And you may have the exact field to make a connection, like a bouquet of flowers, in a way. And we're much stronger together. So it's not a day job. It's not putting the cake in the oven and in an hour or 45 minutes, it comes out and is done. So this is going to take a lot of work. But once we reach the tipping point of millions or hundreds of millions or maybe billions, we'll see the change manifest, because the physicality has to follow the totality, which is the soul of the man. Anyone else like to add anything more to that? Thanks, Rick.
I think you covered it pretty good, Mark.
So you take your personal responsibility as you see. You're the captain of your own ship, but the change can be done. But if it's done by the others or from the universal community, we will never keep it. We have to bring the change ourselves and walk away from the war and kill. And this is a process. We're all going through it. We're all growing into this knowledge at different strengths and different speeds. And no one is wrong, and no one is 100% right about their understanding. It's what this knowledge means to you, not anyone else, or not what anyone else tells you it's supposed to mean to you. So I think they have a number of meetings. One is in the Telegram, one is in the Instagram, I think, and one is on YouTube. And then there's a Zoom, so you can collaborate at 1 a.m. Central European time, which in a couple of weeks it'll change to Central European summertime. I think the United States has already moved their time forward an hour, and that goes on for daily intentions. The meeting is only about half an hour, 30 minutes or so. There's some time to reflect. There's a little bit of reading, and then there's some work to do on the soul level collectively. And on Wednesday, it's the same, but it's at 6 p.m. CET or CEST, and the same process happens. So if you feel comfortable there, that's fine. If you feel comfortable on the soul level, that's also fine. And you can work with both. But we want to thank the Brazilians for carrying on this process diligently and faithfully since a few years. I think it's been going on now. And it's also elevated us in a way. And the Sanian meeting, they're doing a very similar thing that happened in London, where they're sort of working in the background to support the people that were actually at the meeting. And there's probably more to it. I don't quite fully understand it all. But this process of giving and receiving is something you'll carry with you through your existence in the universe. Could be millions or billions or tens of billions of years. But it's not all giving. Receiving can be more important than giving, because we know the gravitational minus the magnetical equals the structure of any entity. So if you give too much, you actually change the structure. You need to be sure you take as much as you need, but not more than you need to maintain your structure. Just my simple understanding of this whole process at this point in my enlightenment, let's say. Anyone else want to make a comment? Or I think this is one of the more important parts, especially about using our non-tangible reactors that are all within us. We're huge field generators, but we've never really played strongly with it and understood it. We've been told, especially men, that, you're not supposed to be emotional. Stay away from the emotions. You've got to be strong and, at attention all the time. You can't, the women are more, again, as you said, inquisitive, Rick. And of course, the Western religions have also got us to think outside of ourselves. The soul is somewhere out there. And the Eastern religions have more focused on the internal structure. That a lot of this is most or all of the knowledge is actually within you. It's just finding that key to open it up. You have the Rolls Royce. Now you have to find the key that starts it. And that's what these sessions are. That's what the volunteering is, and the rest. So the beautiful part of this is no one fails this test. So we're all passing. We get a passing grade. Obviously, this is what's coming up in this weekend. I think it's Saturday, Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday. More technology being shown, unique systems that Mr. Keshe is putting together. It won't be shown again, he says, but it's helping people again to understand this transmutation and probably a few other things. Maybe if there's enough energy put into the system, you'll actually meet your own soul, if you think that is possible. And of course, you can block this technology. It won't be forced on anyone. That's why a lot of people say, I don't feel anything, nothing happened to me, because they want to stay in control. The physicality wants to stay in control and not just allow the soul expansion and whatever comes out of that expansion. But we're doing it all every night when we dream. So this is nothing foreign to us. But again, we've been told it's a dream. and to refer to it as a dream. And we all do. But it's actually the work of the souls interacting. Again, we're just breaking into this, really. But Mr. Keshe knows how to teach, and he knows how to deliver, because this is not a new rodeo, let's say. This has been going on around the universe for millions of years, bringing planets and civilizations into interaction with the larger family of the universal community. They're from the same creator as you. We just don't fully understand the process of creation and the creator. And we know the creator shows himself in trillions of faces around the universe. So it's all the creator, and it's all connected. Okay, Rick, I don't want to take it too long here.
Well done, Mark. I just wanted to mention too that with this particular seminar, that funds have been raised by Andreas and others to enable several knowledge seekers to be able to go to Sanya in China to be present in the in this seminar. So that was a really nice gesture from Andreas, a beautiful thought that became a reality through the fundraising efforts. And I think he was quite successful in that, and I think he even got himself to go through that process, which is great, because even though that wasn't his initial intention, perhaps it was to whoever would deserve it, essentially, or would need it the most. But apparently he needed it, and by doing that process to help others is a beautiful way to get yourself to that position as well. So it's much better than just send me money for my trip kind of thing. It's just instead, let's raise funds to raise the water for all instead of just one.
Yeah. And of course, Mr. Keshe will be privately briefing the diplomats, probably some of the government officials in China, as well as the military officials who are still, I believe, pretty completely baffled. I don't know what they've actually seen. It's been alluded to with amino acids or other materials being created. And this show is not going to stop in Sanya. It's going to continue on into Iran and Isfahan, which will happen, I believe, later this year. Washington, D.C. is also slated for this program to be brought. And this is so that not only the government officials know, but also the nationals of the country. The world leaders talk about Mr. Keshe and the Keshe Foundation among themselves on a very regular basis, but they do not want to reveal this technology to their nationals. As we understand it, Mr. Keshe did go to the world governments probably 25 years ago, and he said, I can show the people on this planet how to feed themselves and generate their own power for very little cost. And the reply was, absolutely not. We do not want people to have this technology. So he started teaching knowledge seekers, and he's playing it off against the governments and back and forth and so on and so forth. So this is a process. This is a program that will be taken again to multiple countries. And of course, the research centers are going to play also a key role, which is something coming up this year. That will help this technology get more into the public domain. As people start to use the technology, it becomes widely accepted. And the Keshe Foundation store, which Rick had pulled up, which has a few hundred products perhaps in it now, will be moving into the thousands of products and the tens of thousands of products and even more, as the Chinese have initialed agreements with the Keshe Foundation to manufacture probably things that are coming out of these new research centers. So it's all working together quite nicely. We don't see the bigger picture, but we can participate in it as you choose to.
Okay, very good, Mark. Thank you for that. Okay, is there any other sharing today of testimonials? Well, I take that as a no. And I think it's probably time we can wrap things up here then. Okay, well, let's do so then. I thank you all for being here today for our 88th public meeting for testimonials. Try to keep in mind for the 89th public meeting, which will be, let's see when the date will be for that. It'll be in April 8th, actually, is the second Monday in April. So April 8th, we'll have our next testimonials meeting, and try to keep that in mind. And I'm sure that if you think of your life, you'll find that there's examples of some kind of connection with the plasma technology as we go about our daily lives. And if we can retain some of that and even take a picture or a video, that would be even better. But just hearing your voice to explain how something has happened or changed in your life or experiments, that's great as well.
And you know, Rick, I've picked up this phrase that I've heard from Richard Hoagland, which he says is probably an old Native American saying, it only takes one white crow to prove that all crows are not black. And this relates to the work that's going on in Gaza. If we can reach one family, if we can reach 10 families with food, with water, with painkillers, with emotional balancing, that means we can feed the entire planet. It's just a matter of scaling it up. And I think the foundation is in that process right now of not just 80,000 a day, but reaching 1 million people perhaps per day. So we support this work, and again, it's a beautiful journey. All depends on how much of the banana you'd like to peel.
Yes, indeed. Thank you, Mark. Thank you for being co-host once again today. Let me see. What else do we have? We have to announce the next public workshop, which would be the One Planet, One Nation, One Race for World Peace and for Justice and World Peace. Oh, I'm finally trying to get that name together. In any case, we will be having that on Tuesday, starting at 4 p.m. Central European Time. That's Tuesday, March 12th, tomorrow. And that's with members of the Universal Council and support members. And they always have a good show they put together, and welcome everyone to attend that and tune up your giving emotions.
And you'll be bringing or hosting another program on Wednesday morning, Rick?
As per usual with the Keshe Plasma Reactor Group. And again, we welcome both old-timers and newcomers to the plasma technology. And if you have something to share, that's a good place to share it. Or if you have an experiment or some questions or a topic that you'd like to bring up, we're open to just about anything on that in that venue. And we try to bring it back to the plasma. Always comes back to the plasma, it seems.
And that program starts at about 7 a.m. on Wednesday, Central European Time, and the Zoom number would be the same one we're in now?
That's correct. Thank you, Mark. Yes. And so for people in the Pacific, for example, it's actually 11 o'clock Pacific time on tonight on Tuesday, tomorrow on Tuesday rather than Wednesday.
Mhm.
So check out your local time zone to make sure it corresponds with the time change in North America. I'm not sure what other countries might have changed, but so far we don't have the time change in Italian time or European time, and that should happen in a couple of weeks here, as Marcus mentioned earlier.
And Rick gives an opportunity for everyone to share their knowledge or their understanding of this technology. So you don't need to feel bashful. It's your understanding. And you're in the right position where you are. So Rick is open to, in a way, all knowledges. As we know from Mr. Keshe, there are no bad knowledges. We're open to all of them. And even the creator is still trying to understand his own creation, as I understand it at this point. So you're all welcome to be there. It's not a top down or a pecking order or anything like that. We're kind of really open and free flowing in a way, same way the plasma works. So thank you, Rick, for your dedication to hosting all these programs, really the backbone in a way of the programs, as far as allowing and creating the platform for all of us to be there and to interact and learn more.
That must be why I get a sore back, I guess, then. Thank you, Mark. Thank you for all you do as well, and for everyone for being here and just sharing and observing and witnessing our testimonials here today.
And as Rick likes to say often, 90% of the job is just showing up. So if you can be there in the background or the foreground, feel free. Rick is very enamored with people just being present in a way. If your soul leads you to open up, perfect. If not, you're just on the silent line of communication, and there's no problem with that at all.
Yep, we need lots of silent witnesses in this planet today. If we had more silent witnesses, we'd have a lot less trouble. Think about kids when they are misbehaving. If they know there's a witness, they don't misbehave generally. And even if you're silent and just observing and watching, they know they're being observed and they don't mess up. So perhaps we just need more silent observers on this planet to watch our politicians and everyone else who's up to mischief, and that might be enough to make the change in itself. Silent presence. In any case, Mr. Keshe is doing his part to make sure that the change that's necessary is taking place, and as long as we all do our part and realize that it's as Mark has talked about, it's an inside job, and it's up to us to make those changes in ourselves to bring about our own peace and develop our knowledge. Right on. Okay, if there's no further comments, then we'll wrap up for today with the Flight Enhancement Spaceship Unit, and you can dance your way through the day, and see you all next time around. Bye for now.